going to be an awesome day today. And we're going to miss Miss Sweet Caroline today. All right. So, our Bible verse today. Yes, bub? Okay, come move the spot. Come sit on the floor. Today is going to be James chapter 1, verse 17. James 1:17. James chapter 1. Yep, anytime you need to move, you don't even need to ask. Oh, I love this. I love this verse. Actually, I have not found a verse. Well, some are easier to love than others. Some are kind of like getting on to me. All right, Hallie Grace, you want to read it for me? Go ahead.
Every good has perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, who does not change with
Shifting.
shifting.
Okay, first of all, I just think it's very poetic to think about the Father of the heavenly lights. A lot of ways to describe God. My favorite word, my favorite of all the fancy words in the whole world to describe God is just plain old simple good. That's just my favorite. When someone says, how do you describe God? I just have to say he's good. But this is another description. Father of the heavenly lights. That's very poetic. It's kind of an emotional, it just kind of brings feelings to it. Father of the heavenly lights. So every good and perfect gift is from above. So every good and perfect thing that's happened to you is a gift from God. Your mom, your dad. Sometimes we don't even like to think about it this way because, they're annoying. But brothers and sisters. Yeah, I know. Yes. When you get older, I have a brother and a sister that I totally adore now. Oh, and I have to say it's funny. Okay, does anybody know Coach Jonathan? Okay, you know Jonathan. That's my brother. Yeah, Augustine. So that's my brother. And so I'll tell you a secret on him. I was a lot older when he was born. Like almost old. I was 14 when he was born. And I was so excited when he was born. So, and it just to irritate, dress him up like a girl. I dressed him up in baby doll clothes. And I would tease him and take him to the mall, and we would buy funny clothes and put him in. Anyway, I just tortured him because I could. I didn't torture him like me, but I just pranked him all the time. And so when we get older now, he pranks me. And sometimes when he comes to the school, I know he's been at school because I go out and my windshield wipers on a Bronco are standing up. Have you ever seen like you open them to wipe the glass? Yeah. He would prank me like that. So I know that Jonathan's been here when my windshield wipers are stood up. So he is a good and perfect gift. Now, when we were young, I didn't really understand good and perfect gifts. And sometimes he would annoy me, but most of the time I just pranked him and had fun with him. But every good thing that you have is from God. Every wonderful gift, your sight. Imagine not being able to see. How awful that would be. Taste. If you've ever had COVID and you lost your sense of taste, do you understand how good and perfect the sense of taste is when you get it back? But all the things we take for granted, all the good things, looking at a puppy dog. Who's got the new dog? Cora's new dog. That's a good and perfect gift. And says it comes from the Father of the heavenly lights. Now, I love this part. Who does not change like shifting shadows. So we're going to have a section on light in our science book later, and we're going to talk about shadows and how shadows change. But I can make shadows on the floor, and I can make them move and control the shadows. Yeah. There's a shadow here, and I can make it move. It changes. Shadows change. That's right. Shadows change throughout the day from where the location of the sun is. The shadow is going to change. God is not like that. God does not change. God is not shifty. We do change. That's exactly right. But God doesn't change. If He has said, this is good, this is bad, this is okay, He's not going to change His mind later. God doesn't change. And every good and perfect gift is from God. All right, there's two things you have to write. And give you your one. Yes, have I? So here's one, your Bible or your Chromebook, your Bible versus paper, your Bible, excuse me, your science book or your Chromebook, and your science notebook. And take out your English, look at y'all, your English packet. Way to go, Ladybug. Good job, you did online. Miss Ella was all ready without even me telling her.
So we didn't have any homework.
No, no homework for me. Usually we will not have homework on the weekend. I'm not going to say never, because that's a huge word, but I'm very, very confident I probably will not give us homework on the weekend. Ooh. All right, let me get this out of the way. Hunter and John. Man, you got to find it. Look in all your binder and look in your backpack. All right, so for today, first thing that we need to take a look at is our science Google Classroom. So when you open up your Google Classroom, did anybody check your assignment sheet this weekend or last night? You did? Okay, I saw a couple of names pop up. Um, um, okay, that's okay. You don't have to. But I saw a couple of names while I was working on some things that popped up on my screen. I was like, yay, way to go. Mr. Owen, I saw Mr. Owen was checking through things last night. Glenn. Okay. So, want us to take a look at the assignment sheet because when it pops up, notice things in bright yellow. There's your week. This week, our September 3rd through 6th. Homework each night, study notes. Okay, so review your notes. Go over those notes. Okay. We're also going to have our Chapter 1 test Thursday. So this coming Thursday, we will have finished all of Chapter 1 and everything inside this little notebook might be on your test. Can't test every single word, but have you learned a lot so far? Okay, good. And we'll kind of review a little bit more tomorrow before we go home to study. So every night, go over it a little. Never wait to the last minute. It's so hard and it's so scary and it stresses you a lot. Have you ever had something to do or you have to hurry up and do it and you feel that little stress and anxiety like or been late for something? We can avoid a lot of that by working ahead a little bit. All right, so we got our Bible reading. We're going to do study notes today. We got our Bible reading, study notes, and then Thursday, chapter 1. This is the name of our chapter, Plant Structures and Functions. It's going to be a 100-point test. The last two we had were only 50 points. So if you made a 50, that was great. Now on this test, if you make a 50, not so great. This test, we're shooting for a 80, a 90, a 100, something like that. Okay? There will not be 100 questions. I think there's about 26 or so questions on it. There will be 3 that you have to write sentences. So you have to give me some writing. And I do pull ears and stomp toes if you don't capitalize and punctuate. And maybe take off a point here or there. I might give you a little grace on the first one. But if you don't write a sentence with a capital letter, hey, off with your head, me hearty. And if you don't put a punctuation mark, the nose goes. So remember that. And then Friday, we're going to introduce our new chapter and get our notebooks set up and also check your notebooks and see how well we're working on it for today. All right, so get your notebooks ready.
Excuse me, Miss Roberts.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Gray's got his Chromebook up here.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Let me get a minute.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Gray. And you better give Mama a big hug this afternoon, okay? Maybe draw her a picture or something. What you got, Peyton? You printed them? Oh, wonder why not. Well, did you have internet last night? Say, well, you had 4 bars. Okay. Huh. Okay. All right. So let's get our science book going. Got your notebooks ready? You may this, or you can use yours that's online. Ainsley, get those off your head. Get that out of your mouth. We are on page 30, 38, I think. Nope, nope. Excuse me, not 38. Yes, precious. 33. Okay. You can turn it off, and you can follow along with mine. All right, on page 33, uses of plants. Did you get it? All right, so to get set up, first thing, go ahead and write page is 33 dash and leave it open for right now. I'm planning to get through to page 37, but let's hold off just to make sure. All right, so let's review really quickly xylem and phloem. It'll wiggle your toes. Now, the way I remember to keep those from getting confused is X is for the end of the alphabet. X, the xylem starts at the end of the stem in the roots. So the xylem are the internal structures, little tiny tubes that's bringing up the moisture and nutrients from the ground and taking it to the parts of the plant. All right, then we have the leaf. The leaf is super important. It's capturing the sun. The sun. So it needs sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water. And using those three inside the leaf, inside the glass. Ainsley, second time. Get it off your head. Thank you. Second time. I shouldn't have to tell you second time. So inside the leaf are those. Someone's in the kitchen. Inside the leaves are the chloroplasts. The chloroplasts are using those three things we just mentioned, and they're starchy, sugary substance that the plant needs to grow. Then, good for that leaf. What about the stem, the roots, the flower? How does it get there? It flows. Phloem. 1-800-Phloem. Hi. I need to make a delivery, please. Uber Eats. We have the phloem. So the phloem would. It's going to flow all that energy to the other parts of the plant. Structure, the little tubes that move that. Chloroplasts are the little kitchens. And inside that green liquid is called chlorophyll. Worldview, how we perceive the world around us, biblically or evolutionary. Evolutionary means that if you have an evolutionary worldview, and you believe that the world is changing over millions and millions of years, and that a characteristic can evolve so that a plant's thorns, it would be a leaf, and through millions and millions of years, that leaf change into a thorn. If you have a biblical worldview, you believe in the account of Genesis, and you believe that thorns are a characteristic from the judgment, that after Adam and Eve pardon, that the thorns were on there. That's it. All right, so that kind of takes us up to where we are.
Why is it called the fall?
Because humanity failed. It's just like, it's a disappointment. Like,
It's like
trouble. Okay, uses of plants. Holy smokehouse. There is a 4-letter word that I really, really like. What is that first word there? Food. Carter. Carson, would you like to read? Did you have a question? Okay, go ahead and read under food. Perfect. Pick a girl. Ella, read the part for fruit, please.
the fruits of plants. Tomato and avocados are also fruits. Did you know
Nuts.
that nuts are fruits? Walnuts and other plants that contains the seeds.
All right, so let's come up here to ours and let's do a study dot. Oh, all right, now at our study dot, we're going to say plants can be used for. And now, before we talk much about fruit and explain fruit, we're just going to list them. They can be used for food, like fruit and seeds. Okay, yeah, we kind of jumped ahead and included seeds there. So isn't that odd to think about tomatoes and avocados as fruit? Some people think of a tomato as a vegetable, but it's actually a fruit. And then some nuts. Now, I didn't say all nuts, but some, like pecan, those and walnut, those are also called a dry fruit. No, choose are a nut. Okay, or a legume. We'll read about that in just a minute. Okay, that was a girl. Who read that? Ella. Ella, pick a boy to read seeds.
Seeds, seeds are another part of the plant that you might eat.
Keep going.
Almonds are seeds contained inside.
Droop.
The fruit is the hard fruit of an orange. When the it is the seed of the lifetime.
So almonds and pistachios are seeds. Now, last night I did eat a watermelon seed. I bought the watermelon that says it's seedless, but it does have those little tiny, tiny little white soft things, and I just chewed them up and ate them. I ate them with the watermelon. Bryce?
So like like when plant like vegetables and fruits have seeds in them comes with and like a fruit is when seeds are in the fruit is it a fruit or when it's no seeds in something is it a vegetable?
Good question. So you're wondering if it's a fruit because it has seeds and it's not a fruit. That's not really what determines it, but that is a good question. That is a good question, but that's not what determines it's fruit. All right, let's turn. Peyton, pick a girl for flowers.
Have you eaten a fruit flower?
Okay, time out. Has anybody ever eaten a flower? All right, keep on, Allie Grace.
Have you have eaten
Artichoke.
or broccoli or cauliflower? You have eaten flowers.
Okay, I ate the flower for lunch yesterday. There was broccoli in my salad. Keep going.
Bread which has flour in it.
Aren't you are the buds of the flowers before it blooms. Not all flowers are safe to eat, but many are. Have you ever
Tried.
tried to fry a dandelion flower?
So dandelions are edible, and when we get to our survival series, we're going to talk about that a little bit more. And we actually tasted one. It was very bitter. It wasn't quite what I thought it would be, but it's edible. Now, not all flowers are edible, so you can't just walk out in the yard, pick a flower, and eat it because it could make you sick. It could be toxic, but some are edible. The ones that we eat a lot or most commonly are broccoli, cauliflower. Now, a lot of us don't usually eat artichoke, but there are some dips that people make around football season and party time in the fall, and they make a dip with artichokes in it, with the artichoke heart. All right, Allie Grace, pick a boy to read about leaves. I know we've eaten leaves. All right, pick a boy. Spinach. I would rather, I like spinach leaves when they're raw. I like it when it's in my salad, but I'm not really fond of cooking it because it's kind of slimy looking to me, and it kind of. All right, pick a girl for me to read about stems. Yeah, he finished leaves. So who did you pick? Rhubarb. Now, I have never eaten a rhubarb pie. Have you, Bryce? Okay. Has anybody else ever eaten a rhubarb pie? Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, Brant has a question and he has permission. Go ahead, Brant.
They wanted sin in the garden, then and no one ever died, then wouldn't the world be overpopulated?
I believe that God would have taken care of all that. I believe He would have fixed all that. All right, so we have rhubarb. It's a stem, so we eat some stems. Does anybody eat celery? I'm not a big celery fan. You like celery? Have you ever made celery stalks and put peanut butter on it, and then put raisins on it? It looks like ants on a log.
Yeah.
I think that's funny. So that's another way we can eat stems. All right, who read that?
Alex.
Adeline, pick a boy to read Roots. Back to Ruth. All right, so I would like to make a little change up here. Do you see where we wrote and? Erase it, put a comma, and we're just going to make a list. So plants can be used for food like fruit, comma, seeds, comma, what else? Roots, comma, what else? Stem, good, comma, what else? Leaves and flowers, good. Good job. So plants can be used for food, fruit, seeds, roots, stems, leaves, and flowers. Hey, so all parts of a plant are edible?
No.
Not the same plant,
Certain.
but in certain plants, yeah. So not in one plant can I eat all of those parts. Like I wouldn't eat the flower on a potato plant, but I would eat the root. I wouldn't eat the root on a tomato plant, but I would eat the fruit. Peyton, what you got?
Me and my grandmother were looking up how do they make cashews, and they take the fruit out, and then they get something out of the fruit, and then they roast them, and then they keep them.
How awesome is that? Yes, Blanton?
I put rhubarb in my
You put what?
rhubarb in my salad.
Rhubarb in your salad? Okay. Yes, sir.
Rhubarb. Um, but rhubarb is like
Hey. What you have a question?
some rhubarb is like rhubarb.
Oh, okay. Rhubarb pie. That sounds awesome. All right. So plants can be used for food, like fruits, seeds, roots, stems, and leaves. All right. So an example of a fruit. Raise your hand. Give me an example of a fruit. Like you got it. Example of a seed. Peyton. What? Well, yeah, but we don't just go out and eat a watermelon seed. I mean, it's okay, but for pumpkin seed, give me an example of a root that you eat. Potato. Give me an example of a stem. Bryce. Rhubarb. Give me an example of leaves that you eat. Lettuce. Give me an example of a flower you might. Broccoli. Also, I think of cauliflower too. That just kind of reminds me. All right, now there are other things that plants give us. So let's move over to page 35. And on page 35, I forgot who read last. Who? Max, pick a girl, please. There, start with products. You got it. So, first thing, shelter, pick a boy.
Plants are also used for shelter. Many plants are home to birds and squirrels, making nests in trees or long grasses. Some kinds of frogs.
All right, so let's start off by saying plants provide products like, what did he just read? Shelter. Don't stop there. Make a comma. So shelter. So we can have shelter from plants. Remember that thorn tree I was telling you about in my backyard? It's a hawthorn, and the birds were making the nest in the sweet olive, and Butterbean was eating them. And so they moved their nest over into that hawthorn tree with the thorns, and they're living quite well. Lila, are you okay? You're bleeding. Let me get you a tissue. So those thorns are providing protection. So trees, plants offer. She read that one? Oh, Bryce. Pick a girl.
Um,
Ainsley.
Plants are also important for the body.
Wait, start again, please.
Wait, what's
You were right. Plants also are important.
plants are also important used to make houses. Rhubarb can be shot to build log cabins. Wood is cut into logs to build a house. In the early world days of the thick grass and roots were cut and planted down. We fit the straps together to bust on the
Okay, so we know pretty much that trees make wood and wood houses are built out of wood. But have you ever thought about sod houses?
It's not.
Sod, it's grass. Have you ever like not had a bare spot in your yard, and then they came out and they put sod down, they put grass chunks down? Well, the other day I had to work on a spot in my yard, and I was I was moving the grass. So I cut up this sod. I took out the layer of topsoil with the grass, and then I had a spot where the grass wasn't growing well. I took that sod and dug a hole and kind of planted it down and watered it. It's not doing well because it needed more water than I gave it. But sod, I want to show you an image of a sod house. Image of sod house. All right, so in the early days, out in the West, they would build their house and they would cover it with grass. And these were called sod homes. Isn't that cool? And there's a place out west near Taos that they build their houses kind of underground. And they use the sod and it helps insulate the house and keep it from being so hot because it's very hot in the desert there and it's very cold in the winter there. We've talked about the desert changes. But the houses, and then they use the wood and stack it up. But wood wouldn't be perfect. Wood, like it might be a little crooked, and there may be a gap. So they would stuff sod in between those gaps in the wood, and blowing in. They could also cut the sod and stack it on top of each other and make a wall of the house. Yes, sir.
Whenever we're talking about nuts, all nuts, like, you can eat, like, a lot of all nuts, like, Brazilian nuts.
If you eat too many, I didn't know that. I did not know
Yeah.
that. Rice.
Um, I have, woods with grass on top of it. How do they stop it from warping and, like, the wood can warp,
Mm-hmm.
like, when it gets wet?
Yeah,
How do
and
they stop it?
well, the wood is not perfect. It's not like you put the two pencils together like that. So there's going to be naturally gaps, and they stuff it, they chink it, they stuff the gaps with grass and mud.
And it's like a spring foam stuff.
And it's not perfect. I mean, this is not like going and get wood at Lowe's or anything like that. You just make the best of it that they had. They didn't have a Lowe's then. Okay, correct. All right, let's turn. And that was read by a boy. You, Ainsley? Okay, I'm so sorry. Pick a boy for clothing. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Harvested. Bales. Uh huh. Yeah, woven. Uh huh. You're right. Okay, so plants provide clothing, especially cotton. Does anybody farm cotton? Do we have any cotton farmers?
My dad,
Okay.
he just started.
It's just cotton. Okay. So that cotton is used to make clothing. Now, not all of our clothing is made out of cotton, but a lot of our t-shirts are made out of cotton. My shirt's a cotton shirt today. Jeans use a lot of cotton in it, and then they pick it, they roll it into those big bales. Then they have to get the seeds out, and that's not an easy process because the seeds are not real smooth, and they hold some of that fiber on there. So they get that out, then they can spin it into fiber, little long thread, and then they can make it into clothing magically. Yes, sir.
On the basketball court out there, there's a little fire.
Awesome, that's cool. All right, so plants provide products like shelter, and we left a comma, and clothing. Okay, and then pick a girl for me. And what did you say Dad told you? Gotcha. All right, go ahead. Claire. Thank you, Claire. Start with other products. Oh my goodness, so you're blowing your nose on a product from a tree. That's pretty cool. All right, keep going.
Water and chemicals to make it steel and bright. Then it is
All right, go ahead and do it with rubber too.
rubber.
Okay, hold on. Rubber is made from plants. This is pretty cool. All right, pay good attention. Claire, read out loud for this one, real loud.
Rubber is another product that is on your bicycle and your family's car are made from rubber. Rubber is made from white liquid found when you cut this.
Of some plants, not all of them. Go ahead.
The most common rubber is the rubber tree. The white liquid shaped into different parts.
Isn't that cool to think about rubber like your eraser? That's a product from a plant. We don't often think about that. Your tires is made of rubber, and part of that is from a plant. There's other chemicals that are added into it, hold on, Bryce, but that is a product from a plant. I know this is okay. The pencil, that's like yeah, but the rubber part. What about the rubber on my shoes? It's part of that is from a plant. All right, so let's go back and list. We said plants provide product like shelter, clothing, comma. Now, before we get to rubber, let's go in order so we don't miss anything. What were some of the other products that Claire read? Bryce? Paper, good. Paper. Anybody remember another one that Claire mentioned?
Tires.
Yeah, but let's hold rubber. Let's hold rubber just a minute. Let's go back to the wood products. Yes, sir. Desk. All right, so let's say instead of naming all like desks and tables and chairs, let's put furniture. Furniture, the wood part of the furniture, and the soft part could be cotton. That could be, yeah. Peyton, what you got? Sir? Lead? Well, now lead isn't made from a. No, it's just the pencil part. So let's just say pencil. How's that? Pulp. Okay. Pulp is okay. This is gross. Y'all want to hear a gross story? Okay, it's a true story. Taught a little kid one time. He was a little young first grade kid. He didn't go to this school, and he took a pencil. Okay, this is real gross. He took a pencil. Do not try this at home. And he chewed up the pencil, and it had a big wad of pencil wood in his mouth. And we're like, wait, baby, don't do that. That is kind of like the machines at the paper mill. The paper mill the trucks bring in those long logs. You've seen a log truck on the highway. They take those to the paper mill and they chew them up. Not with your mouth, but with machines. And they chew it up and they add water and they add some other chemicals until it comes into like a soupy mixture. They just keep making it smaller and smaller, and it's called pulp.
And leaf paper dissolves.
And then from there, they press it out and they make it smooth into paper products. Toilet paper. Go into the bathroom and use toilet paper. It's a tree. Tissues, writing paper, packages. Yes, sir, Max? All right, so plants provide products like shelter for animals and people, clothing, paper, furniture, pencil, and the unusual thing that we really quite didn't think about. What is the other thing? Rubber. Sir? No, we used the and there. So plants provide products like shelter, clothing, paper, furniture, pencils. I need to add pencils. And rubber. And you know what? Oh, look at that. Why did that do that? Put my S in the wrong place. Oh, I sure do. I'm sorry. I'll take one away. All right, and then I'm going to end because that's all the study notes that we're going to do for today. Okay. Now, that's all on our left-hand side. So we're going to move over to the right, and we're going to make these into a couple of good sentences. Peyton, what you got? He used to what?
He used to work at the casino for like chopping down trees.
Uh-huh.
And so what he would do is when there was no like but he would take 10 acorns and glue them, and then they would cut down a tree, and then he would plant it. Listen to him.
Perfect. Okay. All right, Bryce, what, darling?
So paper, it has to go through 2 mills because you have to get a tree mill to get a tree mill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Has to go through several stages.
Yeah.
Several. All right, so let's move on to our sentences now. Now, we had said plants can be used for food, fruit, plant, seeds, roots. How can we make that into a sentence? Anybody have a good, what you got?
Using of plants for us to use is farming is clothing, paper, furniture, pencils, and nuts.
Okay, so before we get to that, let's go back to the food. Okay, hold that thought for products. What you got? No sentences. Mm-mm. You're on the wrong page. Hey, look, don't erase. Yes, write yours there. Okay, write yours at the bottom. Don't erase. But next time, be careful. Okay, what is on the left? Always on the left. Study notes on the right. All right, Brent, you think you got a good sentence for me?
Plants can be used for food, and we can put something behind it.
Okay, I like the way he's starting. Plants can be used for food. Anybody want to, Lila, what?
Plants can be used for furniture and other products.
Okay, all right, we're getting there. Claire, what you got? Okay, all right. Yes, sir?
Plants can be
You want to put it all in one?
Yes.
All right, let's see if we can work with that. All right, so plants, not we know, provide like many things, many things. Okay, plants provide food, shelter, and other products such as furniture, paper, and rubber. So plants provide food, shelter, and other products such as furniture, paper, and rubber. So that is amazing to think about plants. Do you think that when God created the plants that he had all those uses in mind? Or did they just like, oh, why don't we got this plant? Why don't we? He had them all in his mind.
Otherwise, if
Yeah.
he didn't know we needed them, he wouldn't have.
That's right, Brent. If he didn't know, he wouldn't have made it.
They not only make everyday items, but they also provide oxygen.
Yes, that's right. And there's other things like a shade. Have you ever just really been hot, and appreciated a good shade tree? Yeah. Yeah, mowing my yard yesterday. It was hot, sunny, and man, I was like, man, I can't wait till I get over there in that shady section.
Now that you think, now you're thinking about it, helping somebody, if you help somebody, they might help you later on. Because if you breathe out carbon dioxide, they think you did it, and they have to make oxygen.
That's exactly right. Oxygen! Carbon dioxide! And the plant says, carbon dioxide, oxygen. So I scratch their back, they scratch my back. Same thing with people. If you're kind to people, then pretty much generally people are going to eventually be kind back to you. That's exactly right. Yes, sir?
I'm just asking, what would happen?
We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here. All right, so plants, they're beautiful. They provide food for us. They provide food for animals. They provide shelter for us. They give us products like clothing and rubber and tires eventually. Got to have other products that come in there with it. But there's a lot of plants provide. And then they also just provide that feeling of, have you ever been hiking in the woods? And you walk through the woods and you see the beautiful trees, just the sheer beauty of seeing a big, huge tree. Sometimes it's just very relaxing. Any of my hunters, anybody go hunting? When you get in the woods, you can climb up in that deer stand, it's quiet, you just enjoy the nature around you. Just beautiful. All right, this is all that we're going to do for our science today. Tomorrow we're going to pick up with page 38 and we will finish our chapter tomorrow. Oh, we went to 37. Bryce, thank you so much. Let's go back up. No pumpkin, we do that in the morning time. To 37. Now, we stopped on 37. Yeah, we went to 37. All right, let's go ahead and conclude this. Go ahead and put this to the side. Don't get back in your binder. And then